that the event to kick off the summer is going down, and it's going down in a major way as we raise money and awareness for mental health, everybody, when Most Hated Productions presents Suit and Tie Shit, Saturday, May 28th, live at the Pavilion at iWorks in North Kansas City. You'll have performances from Till the Death Records, Billions, King Ja, PDG, Divinely Paradox, Bay, Kansas City's own Satilla STS, Gnosis, Live Fast, Live Forever, The Phenomenal Jet, Sick and Twisted, and much more. Hosted by, well, you already know, the one and only Petty Murphy, myself, everybody, with DJ Three Fingers and Frostbite on the ones and twos, and a special guest speaker, Mr. Jason Platter, coming from Wichita, Kansas, to speak about mental health, everybody. Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite.com, or contact the performers or myself and get your tickets now. You don't want to miss this event, as we're coming together to raise awareness for a cause that is not being spoken about, everybody. So get your suits, get your ties, ladies get your dresses, the whole 9 yards. It's about to go down. Saturday, May 28th, live at the Pavilion at iWorks. Most Hated Productions presents Suit and Tie Shit. I'm Petty Murphy.
Good evening. This is a special edition of the Petty Murphy Project, being shown here on Petty Murphy TV here on YouTube. I am your host, Petty Murphy, and what we're about to talk about is very disgusting, but it needs to be talked about. As you may know, on Friday, there was a shooting in Wichita, Kansas, inside of Town East Square Mall. 3 young men's lives changed forever. But one of those young men, Tre'Davious Hutton, will never get to see another light of day. He was 14 years old and he was shot and killed inside Town East Square during a fight. I have seen the videos, and the videos were very disgusting because there was one adult trying to break the 3 young men up, 17, 16, and 14, trying to de-escalate the situation while shoppers and onlookers were basically just standing there, not basically trying to de-escalate the situation. So today, I will have some guests on because it is time that we all come together. As you may know, this came after 3 weeks 2 weeks after what happened in Olathe, Kansas at Olathe East High School. And this is too much now. This has gone way too far, everybody. Right now, I'm waiting for my guest to come on. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take a little break. When I come back on, I'm going to bring our guest on, and we're going to talk about it. So just stay there and hold tight. Okay, we are back here on the Petty Murphy Project. I'm just waiting for our guests to come on. Our guest panelists are going to come on also too. But while we are waiting for them to come on, I do want everybody to know that this is a very serious situation because there's a lot of things that play into what has happened lately, and especially has to deal with mental health. Most Hated Productions presents Suit and Tie Shit Saturday, May 28th, live from the Pavilion at iWorks in Kansas City. Tickets are available at $10 on Eventbrite.com or contact myself or the performers and get those tickets, everybody. We're trying to raise money and awareness for the support of mental health because what people don't understand, with situations that happen like this, mental health will play a part in this. And the thing that it's so disgusting to watch those videos over and over again. And I've had 4 days to basically just sit and stew. I said some things on my Instagram at Petty Murphy Project on Instagram. I said what I had to say. It's because I'm calling out everybody. Everybody is accountable. It's just not me. It's just not my guest panelist that's coming on here. It's just not the parents. It's just not the teachers. It's not our local officials or state officials or government. It's everybody. I'm talking about event promoters. I'm talking about artists, comedians, poets. It's everybody. It's everybody. Especially the gang bangers and the OGs that were in gangs and people in prison. We had this young man was 14 years old. 14. 14 years old. Life gone. And the young man that took his life gone. I heard today that District Attorney Mark Bennett, if you guys don't remember who Mark Bennett is from the Cedric Lofton case that we talked about in January. Mark Bennett wants to try this young man as an adult. But there's solutions that we can do on this. So one moment, real quick. I'm getting a message in here to the Petty Murphy Project. Just give me 1 second, everybody. 1 second. I'm getting a message. I'm gonna check this message and everything else. So hold on. Okay. I am back. Okay, I am back. I'm got a message from one of our guest panelists. They're coming on here soon. But I'm just letting everybody know this is real, people. This is real. I'm a comedian. I'm the host of this podcast and of this show. But I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to my community. I have a community, no, a responsibility to my city that I live in. I have ties to Wichita, Kansas. It's no secret. My family still lives there. My mom still lives there. I got siblings still live there. Got cousins, friends that still live there. My comedy career started there. And I've seen all of this since I moved down to Wichita the first time in 1993. Split time between here and Kansas City and everything else too. But we're going to talk about that. And ladies and gentlemen, our guest coming on here would be none other than Mr. Jason Platter. Mr. Platter, how are you doing this evening? Oh, I can't hear you. Okay, we're just waiting on Mr. Platter to come on here, everybody. Okay, do we got your mic on? Is your mic okay? Everything good? Might want to take the Bluetooth off. Hold on, real quick. It might be my settings. Hold on. Let me check my settings. Audio. Nope, mine good. Okay, try to take your Bluetooth off. Okay,
All
okay,
right,
now
can you hear it
me?
now?
I can hear you now, sir. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks.
All right, now you contacted me Friday about 15 minutes after I got into Facebook jail, but you were the first one to tell me about the situation that happened last Friday at County Square, and you sent me those videos. And watching those videos for those 3 days, I could not sleep. I could not sleep because the images in my head. But you called me. You called me because of an initiative that we tried to start 4 years ago. This is before I left Wichita, everybody. I actually went on KSN News, Channel 3 in Wichita, Kansas. And I spoke with reporter Tiffany Lane, and I talked about the shooting death and my cousin Rodney, who was shot and killed. The same type of situation as what happened at County Square. And I talked about it because in that time frame, Wichita had a rash of shootings in popular areas. And at that time, we talked about it. The initiative was known as Man Up, Guns Down. And it got a lot of blowback then. Nobody in the city wanted to do anything about it. Mr. Platter contacted me Friday. We had about a 45-minute conversation about this situation and why we're here today. Mr. Platter asked for permission, and with my blessing, I'm going to let him run Man Up, Guns Down for Wichita. Because what we're going to do tonight is we're going to create a national movement right now. And Mr. Platter, I want to thank you for coming on here. You have made some tremendous waves since we talked on Friday to get this initiative put in. Can you tell people from 4 years ago into now what you are going to do with Man Up, Guns Down?
Well, it's like you said, 4 years ago we started off. We wanted to create a reason for the youth not to get in the gangs, for not having to use violence, not having the drugs. I mean, it's one thing to sit there and tell them, hey, don't do this. It's another to give them a reason so that they don't. Teach them trades to create a job, build self-esteem, help them achieve it. They want to go into music. If their passion is a sport or something else, create the opportunities for them. Give these kids the reason and the hope to go on and do better. 4 years ago when we started to do it, we got all the blowback and all the reasons from the city and everybody else on why you can't, going from permits to this, to insurance, to liabilities, all the reasons you can't. And all we've got out of that for quitting on it is more blood on our hands.
True.
I mean, It's senseless violence acts that don't need to happen. I've spent the last 4 years working with different organizations, working with the youth, listening to them, finding out what all they need, refining, never giving up on the dream of the man up, guns down, but making sure doing all the back work, the leg work to make sure exactly what not only we think the youth need, but what the youth are saying that they need. Because it's easy for
Correct.
us to
That's
think that
true.
we know. It's easy an adult to think we know what's best for these kids. It's another to be in the child's mind and see what they see that they're missing. And
Yeah.
after talking with you at Dorothy's Lane, one of the charities I work with a lot here in Wichita, vice president of, we're going through with the Man Up, Guns Down. We want to do the events for like a job fair, career fair, but also like we talked about before, having some artists there, a little bit of everything, get the kids
Mm-hmm.
together, but to show them education wise, teen group wise, peer group wise, sports wise, every avenue possible, what we have to offer for those kids, but to also offer mentorship for those kids and to be there for them when they have a time in need. I want to make it so that they have a place that they can always call to get safe of. If they're in a situation they don't feel comfortable or they want out of, they feel like they're going down the wrong road, they should be able to call somebody to get them out of that without getting reamed how you shouldn't have done this or that. Get them out of it, get them there. They made the right choice to get out of it. Let's let them do that. And at a later time, discuss, hey, what can we do different?
Definitely. Definitely. And that was the whole initiative 4 years ago. And I'm speaking. I'm speaking. This is live on StreamYard. This is live on the Teddy Murphy TV on YouTube. Don't worry, I will be sharing this on Facebook also too. And this is what we were trying to start. You know, the city wanted to get the blowback. The entertainers wanted to get the blowback. But see, here's the thing that I'm going to call out on the entertainers on this also too. And I'm here in KC too because I've seen it here in KC. And this incident happened 3 weeks after what happened here in Olathe with the school shooting at Olathe East. This is just not a Wichita thing. This is not a Kansas City thing. This is an American thing. This happens too often. And everyone's like, well, it happens everywhere. That is true. And it happens too often. And it's mostly our youth that is affected by this. So when I'm going to speak to the entertainment side of this, all these promoters, and especially the ones down in Wichita, y'all know who y'all are. Y'all can get all this money together and bring these big name acts to the city. Make sure the big name acts are paid. They only in town for one day. You do know that that money that you're pouring into these people that really do not care, you can basically use that money and build the resources that these youth need. There's a lot of y'all been talking, and I've been paying attention for 3 days, 3.5 days. There's a lot of y'all been talking, but y'all ain't really done nothing about it. It's because the image whatsoever. Here's the good thing about the image, your image. You have a platform. You have a voice. Your voice and your platform should make a difference. If you want to do the ratchet events that creates the energy and creates that chaos to where these youth do see this and they think that it's okay because Hollywood portrays it, they made billions of dollars over it for years, then you're the problem. You're part of that problem. You gave me that blowback when I wanted to start this program. The city leaders gave Mr. Platter the blowback. Now y'all want to talk. Y'all want to stand now. We could have did this 4 years ago. If we did this 4 years ago, I'm pretty sure that young man would still be alive. It wouldn't be that Mark Bennett wants to charge this young man, the 16-year-old young man, as an adult. And can you tell people more about that, what Mark Bennett wanted to charge that young man at 16 years old as an adult?
I know he had his detention hearing today. Mark
Mm-hmm.
Bennett and the prosecutor, they decided, they brought it forward that they wish to charge him as an adult, that it was an adult act he was doing for that murder. And it's a travesty, really, because it is a child. I mean, he is 16. You're looking at 25 years in prison to be charged as an adult with everything. I mean, they're going through and trying it's a political thing, I believe, because it's playing on the heartstrings. This is a high profile case, and he's trying to send out a message that this is not going to be allowed. But by the same token, we're ignoring the message that these kids need help. They shouldn't have been in that situation. I
Exactly.
mean,
And exactly. And that's the thing that we were speaking on this is because what people don't understand, especially with the youth, mental health plays a lot. You don't know what's going on in that kid's life, and to where they can get the capacity to basically want to know go into that street life, grab a gun, want to kill somebody. Mental health plays a big part into that. And I do not think that this young man should be charged as an adult because if you watch the videos, it's kids fighting. There is an adult trying to basically de-escalate the situation. One adult. While there's onlookers making videos and there's onlookers just basically just walking, passing by, not trying to de-escalate the situation. Those are the things that piss me off about that whole video. This is the whole disgusting. It's because the adults that were there that had their children with them and the people that are basically filming, filming it, and basically trying to do anything to go viral instead of de-escalating the situation. Basically, the lives of 3 young men. They will basically be able here to basically prosper. One is gone. I know you talked to his family. Dorothy Lane is basically helping out with the donations and funeral arrangements. The mom and dad are heartbroken, and we're all heartbroken. It's because we know in our community in this world, when we hear tragic stories like this, it feels like we lost a family member. But my outrage is at the onlookers and the people that are sharing this video, basically trying to gain their views and everything else too. And I've even heard the ignorant ass comments on Cake News Facebook page, KWCH Facebook page. I've heard those ignorant comments, and I'm calling calling them out too. Y'all have got to start filtering out those type of people that make those rude, racist comments when it comes to situations like this. And it doesn't matter if the kid was black, doesn't matter if the kid was white. It could have been anybody, one of their children. It could have been your children. It could have been anybody in your family that was in town in East Square that day. They could have got hit with a bullet. They could have died. It's the same way that happened with Enigma and everything else too. And it's just been happening for years. This has been happening for years, and now the community wants to do something about it. And I know Mayor Whipple wants the community's input on it. Well, Mayor Whipple, hopefully somebody sends him this video when I share it on Facebook. Here's a suggestion. When me and Mr. Platter started 4 years ago, let it happen. Kansas City, if you see this video, let it happen. Chicago, LA, Detroit, Atlanta, doesn't matter where you are at. Let this initiative of Man Up, Guns Down happen. We want to work together with people in your communities across the country and give you guys the blueprint and the template to basically save our youth. You know, the last couple of years has been hard on everybody, and mostly it's been hard on our youth. With coronavirus and the racism and everything else too, it's been so hard. It has been so hard on them, and they are our future. We have to do better as the adults. And you know, I was on Chop on It Radio last night. I'm actually waiting for the Mister to come on here because he said there are some situations down in Muskogee, Oklahoma. I talked to the Mister last night, you know, and I was talking with King J, also artist in Wichita. It's not. It does start from home. It starts at home. You know, most of these parents that we know that have these children out here, they're letting social media and video games and TikTok raise their kids. I'm from the old school. You from the old school. You know, we had your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, auntie, uncles, neighbors, pastors, and everything like that. So you got out of line, boom, you got checked. Parents got to basically raise their children. You know, Charles Barkley once said the great famous quote, I'm not a role model. Parents should be role models. So, Mr. Platter, do you think that to prevent issues like this with this initiative that we are going through, do we need parents involved? All parents involved.
We have to have the parents involved. We have to have the teachers involved. We need to have the ministers involved. I mean, it takes everybody. It's just like the old saying, if it takes a village to raise a child. We need to get back to having that village there. Because right now, the second half of that ancient African proverb is true. If the child does not recognize the village, he'll burn it down just to feel its warmth. That's what's happening now for our youth. They do not recognize the village that's there to raise them because that village is gone. Everybody's too busy about worrying about their own life, what's going on right now with them, what's going on with social media, how to get themselves more likes or whatever, to worry about our youth. And we have to get back to the youth are our future. And we just have to get back to that completely. And
it's true.
And like you said, where Charles Barkley said he's not a role model, but the only sad part is our superstars in every sport, politicians, actors, or whatever, like it or not, they are on that stage, that platform as a role model. Yes. And like you said, calling people out, I've had a big beef with the whole Super Bowl halftime show. Everybody's all excited about all the performers, seeing all the old performers there, Snoop Dogg and all them. But the one thing I caught out of it, like Snoop Dogg giving his Crip sign and his Crip walk. Yeah, that's a signature thing he's been doing since he first started. Mm-hmm. But that's still bullshit because you're doing that sign. You're just showing out to everybody, hey, that's the cool thing is being a Crip and doing that Crip walk and doing that. How many kids are going to get killed because of that? You take a youth that doesn't even understand what that Crip sign is and he throws it in the blood territory. What's going to happen with that kid? He doesn't have to be Crip. He just saw that neat little thing that Snoop Dogg did, does that walk and throws that sign at the wrong place, and we're doing another funeral. I mean, like it or not, when we are in a platform, just like you are on the radio here and on TV, on stage, your life, that is your platform to do. God gives you a platform. It's what we decide to do with it that counts. And to me, we're held at a higher standard once we are on a platform like that.
Definitely. And that's true. That's true. And we have to use our voices. We have to use our voices in our platforms to basically speak to the people and gravitate to the people. We have to put that word in basically it's like the fear of God into everybody. Like I said, I can tell jokes, I can preach, but I want to get my point across with the truth and everything else too. And like you said, entertainers, athletes, politicians are role models. They have responsibility, just like we do also. We have a responsibility to basically change the narrative and change the world. I tell the younger generation, especially they're in the games and stuff too. Everything that you see on television, you listen to music, you see in movies and everything else too, is all bullshit. Because that's not the life. You do not prosper off of that. And to these event promoters, like I said, there's event promoters that throw these ratchet events in places where normal people will not go to. You create that energy, you create that vibe, and basically once you put all those elements in there, there's going to be a moment to where it's going to de-escalate and it's going to get bad. And somebody is either going to get shot or somebody's going to get killed. And here's the thing that I want to tell these promoters also too. You guys can put all this money into clubs, and this goes up to the club owners too. You put all this money into the club, put all these events on, invest all this money in everything else too. But then, let's say something happened to you. You don't have a life insurance policy. Next thing you know, your family's out there making Facebook posts and pictures and everything else too, selling fish and tilapia and chicken wing dinners in a GoFundMe account because they don't have enough to basically bury you and take care of your headstone. What I'm saying to all these event promoters everywhere, put more in your local scene, put more in your local community instead of trying to be Hollywood. instead of bringing these acts in. If you now, it's cool and dandy. You want to bring these acts in, cool. Make them put some money up to help the youth. Have them speak to the youth instead of just coming in, grabbing a check, going on the radio for 15 minutes whatsoever. Go on stage, do whatsoever. Collect 200, stay on the road. Make these big name acts that you're bringing in come with you and make an impact with our youth, to our community. Don't no be how do I want to say this? In order to eradicate the problem, you got to find a solution, and this is one of the solutions that we're saying. Me, I'm invested in my community. I'm invested for a cause. Here's the cause right here. May 28th, Kansas City. I'm raising money and awareness for support of mental health. I've already talked to organizations. I've already talked to potential investors. Mr. Platter's coming to speak May 28th. I got performers coming and everything else too. It's because there's a cause behind it. This is just not a normal event for me. There's a reason behind my event. You have to basically put the money in the community, but not only put the money in the community, but put the money behind it, behind a cause behind this. And I think with the Man Up Guns Down, because like you said, you want to bring on the events to bring this on too. One initiative that I always loved, especially growing up, and I kind of miss it. If you remember back in the day, the NBA teamed up and they basically brought the Hoop It Up series. Basically, you got kids playing Hoop It Up, and adults playing Hoop It Up also too. They stopped it. It was a good thing for the youth because you could sit there and watch it. It's basically building that program. One thing that I always talked about too, because I see back to school drives and stuff too, we need to basically do community events. We got to do community events all year round. At least once or twice a month when it comes to this initiative, once or twice a month, to basically bring the initiative of putting the guns down, manning up. I know Tracy C. Mason does teaches boxing and stuff too. We can basically do events like that with the box and teach these kids how to box. Because like I said, I grew up in that era where we didn't need no gun. If you had a problem with somebody, we squared up, we fought, whether you won or you lost. John Witherspoon said it best. You win some and you lose some, but you live to fight another day. Right now, this generation is because of what is being taught at home and what's being taught on social media and being taught on television is soft. They rather take a charge and catch street cred than to take an ass whooping. So listen to me, you young ones. I rather would take an ass whooping than spend 25 to life in prison any day. Any day, because you may got your ass whooped. Yeah, that's going to talk about it. But see, you get to live to talk about that. You go behind them bars. That's it. You behind bars for at least 23 hours a day. You only come out for one. You get your ass kicked. Hey, you got another 24 hours. So that's what I want to do with this initiative, and this is what I planned on doing. This is, basically we create these programs. Now, what are other suggestions that we can do to basically to everyone that's been commenting, talking about they want to do this and do that? What can we as a whole, because I don't mind coming to Wichita if I have to come speak, be a mentor and speak to these youth. I don't mind doing that. Go ahead. I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to let you have the platform. I'm going to let you have the floor.
I think it's basically we need to get, Wichita and Sedgwick County has over 600 nonprofits registered in it. We've got how many churches in this town? We've got how many other community activists in this town? Organizations. We've got some great organizations already that does the football, does the League 42 with baseball. We've got, Coach Knox with his Hard Knocks Wrestling. I've got one that does community theater, and they do a community garden and everything. But we need to get all these individual people that are working as individuals doing this to come together, just like we said with an event, showing what the people have, because let them know what's out there and we have to take everything to the youth. We got all these organizations, they're waiting for the youth to come to them and join them. Well, that's good. You got some of these parents are bringing their kids to it, but we got this whole section of kids falling through the cracks, like the ones that just got shot and killed, that we need to take what we have to the streets. We need to meet the kids where they're at. Tracy is awesome. I mean, that guy spends a lot of time walking the streets, interacting with youth, BSing with them, talking with them. And, he talks to a bunch of them that are out with the gangs and everything else. They'll just get talking about basketball, talking about football or anything, but to help get their minds off of stuff and to build that rapport, build that relationship with them. Because the youth right now, they think most of the parents and adults and the organizations are a joke. They'll see somebody once or twice and never see them again. They're not going to be around. Why should they ever change? We have to build that rapport and prove to the kids that we're there for them. We're investing in them. And we have to invest in our youth. And that requires not just the money, but the time. People need to get off their asses, quit watching the TV, the computer, the cell phone. Go outside, say hi to the kids or walking down the street. Get to know the kids in your neighborhood. Just that simple hi when they're coming home from school or something can make a world of difference to them right there, because they see somebody cares and notices them.
That's true. That's true. That's where I grew up on. Walking down the street, you see a neighbor say, hey, how you doing? I do it to normal people now as an adult. It's because you got, basically you can make somebody's day. And, right, you got to take this to the kids. You just can't wish and hope they come. You have to this is one thing that I've learned. It's the same way, I do with the entertainment. Infiltrate the dealer, find the supplier. So what you have to do with this is that you got to go to these children. You got to go to these kids. Meet them halfway. Sometimes you got to meet them on their turf. Meet them on their turf. Talk to them. Ask them what's going on. How's your day been? What can you do to help them? Is there anything that they need? What can be done in their community? What can make their community better? That's the thing that we do not have now. It's because everything is done off a cell phone. It's easy to basically type in text. But how about sitting in front of the table and talking face to face? This is what we have to have. We have to have these conversations. Parents have to have the conversations with their children. Now, I do know some parents that do have these conversations with their kids. There are parents that basically check up on their kids, ask the kids what's going on, and support their kids. But a lot of our youth don't have that parent that comes out to their ball games, comes out to their recitals, choir practices, and everything else too. They don't have that type of parent. Now they got grandparents who are sickly and elderly, or they got a working parent that works in the hospital or in the United States military, or they got a father or mother in prison. They don't have that support system. We as a community have to basically be the support system for children like that, because right now our youth are endangered. Our youth are in danger. It's basically like going out in the wild. Basically being an animal, and you got your cub, and you're out, and it's hunting season. They gonna kill the baby first before they get to the adult. It always happens. So we gotta protect our youth as much as we gotta protect ourselves. Everybody wants to talk about this and that, but we talked about this 4 years ago. We had the plan right here 4 years ago, and this is the plan. This is the initiative that we're going with. Mr. Platter already said that he does not care who says no. He's moving forward with it. I'm moving forward with it, and like I said, you see what I'm doing the last couple of months. You see who I got coming on here. I'm actually doing another event before my event, April 9th and April 29th. I'll be in Miami, Florida, April 9th, and then I'll be here in KC to perform on the same type of tour, but I'm also spreading the word message also too. This is just not a me thing. This is just me that's talking about mental health and basically trying to help our youth. There are other people across this country that I have talked to, and I've seen their events and everything else too, and it's all centered around mental health. That's the key, everybody. That's the key. with our youth. Mental health cases are basically a number is high when it comes to our youth. Most of our youth are killing themselves because of their mental health also too. So when it comes to what happened Friday and what has happened lately, mental health is going to be the number one thing they bring up, especially if that case goes to trial. They're going to try to bring up that young man's mental health. Trust me, I've seen this. They're going to bring up that mental health. We have to speak to our youth. Parents, speak to your kids. Ask your kids how you're doing. Tell your kids you love them. Support your kids. Whatever your kids' ambition and dreams are, support them. Do not discourage them, because if you discourage them and don't show that support, we're gonna have keep this cycle's going to continue. The cycle's going to continue. We're going to have situations like this. We're going to end up having our cities end up on CNN, and we're going to have ignorant ass people that voted for Trump and everything else too. The ignorant ones basically on KWCH and Kate News, basically making racist jokes whatsoever on Facebook and thinking that it's funny. It's not funny, everybody, because it's just not black kids killing each other. White kids are killing one another. Asian kids are killing one another. Latino kids are killing one another. And this just does not happen here in Kansas. This doesn't happen in Missouri. Doesn't happen in Oklahoma. It doesn't just happen in Atlanta or LA. It happens all over this country. The problem is this. It's not talked about as much. And you know the reason, and we all know what's talked about. We can talk about when white cops, kill black men or black women or black children. But we can never talk about how our community, as one of all colors, kill one another. We can't do that. We don't talk about that. We can sit there and protest all day long when the cops do what they do. We all know this. We don't have to speak on that one. But when it comes to our youth killing one another, why are we standing up for that more? Why are we not standing up for that? We're just basically just sitting there typing and texting, making RIPs on Facebook, and then basically donating money into a GoFundMe account. Why are we not basically coming together as one to basically prevent both things from happening? You stand for something, or you're going to fall for anything. And in this case, right now, it's like the yin and the yang. I'm all for Black Lives Matter. I'm all for that. But what about our youth? What about our community? What about us as people? We all matter, everybody. Our youth matters. So there's no reason why anybody needs to be going out there being Billy Badass with a goddamn gun. There's no reason why our youth should be out there selling drugs or being on drugs or anything like that too. Our youth needs to basically continue this thing that is hard enough called life into the future. We need future doctors. We need future nurses. We need future politicians. We need more future athletes. We need more future leaders. And if we cannot reach the at-risk youth that fell through the cracks, that has those aspirations, then what we doing? What we doing here? What are we doing wrong? We're gonna have the same conversation again, and this is what we're trying to prevent. Now, Mr. Platter, you said you are starting some more things with this. What other things are you going to do in Wichita with this Man Up Guns Down? How can we start this process now?
Working on talking with some of the other leaders of the town. Not as much, some of the city leaders, political, but also a lot of like Coach Knox and a bunch of CDH boxing, alley boxing. The different groups are already working with youth. Let's get them all together and let's all start working together and talking with some, but also listening with them, find out what's working with these kids. I mean, Tracy's out there and Coach Knox also talking with these youth all the time that are at risk and working with them on getting the stuff lined up together and coming together as one front instead of a bunch of individual organizations. We're basically making it a alliance, a coalition of we're bettering our youth. We're all getting together for it. And that way, when we approach the city with stuff, instead of one person, here's this whole group of all these guys already coming together doing it. And if they want to give us their blessing, that's fine. If not, like when we looked at before, we wanted to use Old Town Square. Running into all the pushback on how many people you'd have to have event insurance for this, have to have this, all the deal. Okay, well, if they want to do that, the city for it, then I know plenty of people anymore. I've built my reputation up with the people and the connections that have venues. We'll use a venue for it. I mean, to where I've worked it all the ways now to where if they say no for one thing, that's fine. I've got 2 or 3 other ways to go with it. And it's a zero tolerance with getting the groups together on doing this stuff. Yeah, there's going to be growing pains, working things together, but we can't have people that's coming into it that they're just there for the photo ops.
Right.
There's a lot of Benny at Hope for the Hood, awesome guy, works a lot with youth up on the north side. It's like he said, the harvest is great, the workers are few. Everybody wants to come out for this event and a candlelight or something, the news is all there and they got the pictures. When it comes to doing the work, nobody's around. Well, we can't do that. It's going to be people, if they're going to be involved, they're going to be wanting to work, and it's got to be people's hearts are there.
Exactly.
And if you'll keep the group small, I'd rather work with a small group of people that want to work than a ton of people that don't want to work.
Exactly, and that's
they're looking not only at what we say, those youth are going to be looking at what we do. They're learning our mentoring is not because we're standing up on a stage talking to them. Our mentoring comes as soon as we step off of that stage and they see everything that we do right there. Because they're going to make sure that we're doing what we're talking about and not just feeding them full of crap.
Right, and like I said, this is not a photo op for me. This is something that is near and dear to me. This has been like I said, I went on the news. And I told, I bared my soul. I talked about my family. I didn't like doing that. But I had to get my family's blessing to talk about that is because I've seen it. I lost a family member through the same bullshit. And it's best for me to do that too. This is not going to be a photo op for me. This is not no publicity thing for me whatsoever. This is me using my platform and expressing how I feel. And this is me letting people know that, hey, I'm going to use my platform to help these youth because I want a young man to come to me. And actually, I had talked to a 19-year-old young man who used to live where I, moved out in my area. He moved out. He pretty much got evicted, but he moved out. And the one thing he wanted to do was basically he wanted to do music. And what I told him, basically, I'm being a mentor. I'm being that big brother. He's asking me about how you start the podcast and all this stuff too. He was asking questions. And I talked to him, I showed him. That's me being an elder statesman. I'm being the real OG. That's what we need more, and it's especially those who are in the entertainment circle that I'm in. Be a mentor to these children. Quit chasing the women. Quit going to buy the bottles of Casamigos and bottles of Douce and the backwoods and the weed. You can bring me the weed, but don't do that. You can bring me the weed, bring that to me, but you gotta be a mentor to our youth. I got nieces and nephews. I have 3 nephews, and they are coming up in age, 13, 11, and 9. I have nieces. I have nieces, and I have 2 younger sisters. One just turned 18. The other one will be 13 in August. I have to be a mentor to them the same way that I was to my younger siblings. I have to be a mentor. I have to basically show them, basically be that inspiration. I have a younger brother who wants to do comedy. He says that I inspire him to do his comedy. And I'm that big brother. That's what we have. We need more of that. We need more people in my lane to basically be mentors to these kids. Just don't come out for the photo op. Just don't come out for the likes and everything else too. Feel good about yourselves and then go end up in Old Town and everything else too and forget about the whole damn thing. Get your 1,000 likes whatsoever and all this other stuff too. All promoters, same thing. Same thing. What I'm doing May 28th, this is me using my platform. This is me using my platform to bring awareness. Just like with that May 28th, April 9th, April 29th, I'm bringing awareness to what we're getting ready to do, everybody. It's time for me to basically step out of what I do, step up out of my element, and get back into my communities and give to my communities. This is what Mr. Platter's talking about. I don't need a whole bunch of people rallying up and basically want to join up on this. I just need a small few people with a voice and a heart. I don't need a whole bunch of other people basically coming in, no politicians coming in for photo ops whatsoever, shaking hands, kissing babies and all of that. No. If you want to be a part of it, that's cool. But this is not what it's all about. This is basically getting down and dirty, getting your hands dirty, and it's reaching out to these children. Reach one, teach one, everybody. This isn't about a political thing whatsoever. If you're up for re-election whatsoever, hey, good for you. I probably won't vote for you, but it's about these children. It's about these kids. These kids need us, everybody. And it's just not the mom and dad that they need, everybody. They need that big brother. They need that big sister. They need that fatherly figure, that motherly figure in their lives to basically help them. These kids are basically telling us they want help. They need help. They want to get where they want to get to. And the life that they're living right now, they don't like it. So they go into this. And I know that, when it comes to situations like this that happened on Friday, something must have stemmed off the social media, must have stemmed off in school. This is where teachers need to come in, administrators need to come in, parents definitely got to come in. It's because I know that bullying is a cause of things that happen. I know that issues on social media and all this stuff too causes things like this. There's always a cause that leads to a reaction, everybody. And everybody needs to basically wake the hell up and recognize that it's cool to talk about ideas. It's cool to basically make a couple sentences that may look good to get you about 100 likes on Facebook with a little heart emojis and no, I love you, no, all of this other stuff too. Much love, power fist, whatsoever. But then when something else happens, distracts you away. Let's say Kanye West does something, we forget about it. It's the goldfish method, everybody. Every 12 seconds, something new trends in America and around the world. So what happens when you look inside of a fish tank and you got that little bitty golden goldfish looking at you and just like blinking his eyes? 12 seconds, he's gone. Found something else to look at. We cannot let up on this. And Mr. Platter, I'm glad you called me on Friday. I know you're not going to let this go up, and I'm definitely not going to let this go up at all neither. I'm not going to let this go. I never let that go for 4 years. I never let that go because anytime, and you notice, every time I see something like this, I'm speaking out on it. Now it's gotten to the point to where this has happened twice this month in a 3-week span. And it so happens I have ties to both cities that this happened in. And enough is enough. And the bad thing about it, Friday, is seeing those videos. Seeing the videos. See, I didn't see the video no later because it was in behind closed doors. Didn't see that video. But to see that video in Townie Square, which a good friend of mine, Marcus Jackson, said that tonight they were still fighting in Townie Square. See, Townie Square needs to get their security stepped the fuck up. They need to have security all around. Because when I was working inside Townie Square, I used to live near Townie Square. All those years, you always had security beef up. You didn't have no issues whatsoever. Somebody was fighting. Now, all of a sudden, You got fights happening. You know, my good friend John Kemp, that's made tattoos. He said him and his wife went to the mall right before the shooting that happened on Saturday, and there's young females fighting on the escalator. On the escalator. See, the problem is this: County Square needs to step their game up. Simon Malls needs to put security inside there. There's no reason why there should be people in the mall fighting while other people are basically trying to enjoy themselves in the food court and going shopping. Who the hell fights inside of a goddamn shopping mall? Matter of fact, who the hell fights out in public, period? Where everybody can see, where people go to shop, innocent people go out there and shop. Who the hell would say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go, you know what, meet me over at Chad Sports, I'm gonna kick your ass kick your ass out and buy a pair of Jordans. Who the fuck does that? The misguided youth. Because they don't know no better. No one taught them that. And what ends up happening when they fight inside the mall? One, they get charged. Two, they get banned. Three, it's on social media. Four, you got people talking about it. And five, you're embarrassed. Families are embarrassed. This is how you eliminate all that bullshit. It's time to come together, everybody. It's time to come together. Mr. Platter, I'm going to let you go ahead and say what you guys say also, too.
I was going to say, like you said, the time for the talking is done. May 28th is going to be an awesome event, but it's like I told somebody at work, we were talking about it. I said, that's my commercial. They're like, well, what do you mean? I said, because that's a chance to get up there and talk about it for a little bit. I said, it's like commercial. I said, then it goes back to the show of doing the hard work and doing the stuff out there. I mean, our doing the events and everything raises the awareness. It gets people out there, recruits some people. It's all part of it, but it's just like you have to have a commercial to previews for a movie or a commercial during a TV show. It's allowing the whole event to happen. It's we go back then to the main work of being out there working with these youth, being there for them, give them reasons. I've listened to a lot of the people talking after the videos or anything else. Well, the youth shouldn't have guns. Why do they have guns? I asked them, why did they feel like they had to have a gun? What made that person feel like they had to buy a gun to be secure, to be safe, or what? I mean, we have to eliminate the cause and dig down to it of it's not as simple as, well, let's just take away the guns. No, we have to make them feel secured where they don't need it. I mean, we have to create a whole environment for our youth where they feel like they are safe and they want to succeed. And we have to change the whole mindset of it. We have to change the dynamic. Yeah. Right now, what's going on is not working. What our politicians are doing, our cities are doing, our schools are doing, it's not working. When we were youth, we get into a fight. Like you said, a lot of times, we took a beating or we gave a beating. Usually a couple of days later, we became friends with the person. We hashed out our differences. With our whole thing with the schools now, the no tolerance and everything, to where you look at a person wrong and all of a sudden you're in suspension. You can't do anything, say anything. Everything just builds up, and it keeps building up to how you get the incidents like this. When we were youth, bullying, you may get bullied at school, but you went home, used the weight of it. Now with our social media and everything else, a lot of these kids, if they're getting bullied, all of a sudden it goes on to social media. They're getting bullied 24/7. I mean, you look at something that destroys their self-esteem, causes mental issues. There is no escaping everything because they're connected 24/7. So we have to work with our youth to get out of that norm, get out of that and work ways of ending it. And it's working with the kids to make sure they learn to get their life skills, how to cope with stuff, how to de-escalate a situation. The stuff which we learned as kids it's not taught anymore. I mean, we learned to use sports, running, music, comedy as your coping skill. If you're getting stressed out, you do this, or you start to get mad, you do this to calm yourself down. They don't teach any of that anymore, so everything just builds and builds and builds, and sooner or later it comes to an explosion. It's just like a volcano. All that pressure builds inside of it, and it erupts. And when it erupts, people get hurt. We have to change that dynamic with them and change the direction.
That is true. And here's the thing about the bullying. Kids become bully other kids is because adults bully adults.
Yep.
And that goes with social media, people. See, adults have some damn accountability for this. And like, everyone say, it does start at home. It starts with the parents, it starts with the kids. Everybody's got to have this conversation. You just cannot blame the kids and talk about, well, why do you have a gun? Why did he need to have one? Why did he feel like he needed to have a gun? That was a fight. Okay, that's a fight. There's no need for a young man to basically have a gun, to have a public place, which Town East Square and all malls across the country, please invest in your goddamn metal detectors. Real talk. Because there's no way in hell that young man should have been walking around the damn mall with a firearm. Not legal to have a firearm. He's not 18, he's not 21. I do think there's some gun laws do need to be changed also too when it comes to that, because what a lot of people don't know is that these guns, if they get confiscated, they get recycled back into the community. Or they basically, with the ghost gun situation here in Olathe, I do know there is a congressman in the Kansas Senate that is working on banning the ghost guns, because basically people can make them at home. Don't even need everything else too. They can make those, and that's what the young man had in his backpack in Olathe. There's a lot of changes that are going to happen, everybody, and with this, what we're doing now, we're going to do it with or without city leaders, wherever, blessing. We are going to bring the message to y'all. So whether you are in Wichita, whether you're in Olathe or Kansas City, whether you are in Muskogee, Oklahoma, whether you're in Atlanta, whether you're in California or in Dallas, you can be in Standback, Alabama for all I care. If you want to be a part of this, please contact myself at the Petty Murphy Project at gmail.com. I will get you with Mr. Platter. I will get you with the Mr. Which the Mr. just sent me a message. He would like for both of us to come on Chop On It Radio. We can talk more about it. He should be coming on about 9 o'clock or 9:30, so I'll get you the information on that. But everybody, it starts with us, everybody. And right now, I started the initiative 4 years ago. You can go to YouTube, type in KSN, Terrence Hayes interview. You can look it up. I'll find that link and I'll drop it on Facebook. And I want everybody to watch what I tried to start 4 years ago. I want all the city leaders in Wichita and Kansas to see what I tried to start 4 years ago and why you told Mr. Platter no. This is why now you're talking about it now. And guess what? We still had it in our back pocket. What we wanted to do then, we're going to do now. So you can either be a part of the solution or you can continue being part of the problem. So for Mr. Jason Platter and for everybody watching on Petty Murphy TV and StreamYard Live, I'm Petty Murphy. I approve this message. You have been watching the Petty Murphy Project, the State of the Union. I will see y'all soon. You can hear me on Chop On It Radio. Tap in at 319-527-6057. I will be talking with the mister. He was supposed to be on here, but he had a little situation. So we're going to talk more on this on Chop On It Radio. Mr. Platter will probably be on there. If he does come on there, we're going to talk more about this. And there's another issue also, too. Everybody, this is a team effort. And like Mr. Platter said, it takes a village. So let's be that village, everybody. Y'all have yourselves a good evening and have a good night. I will see you guys tomorrow.